Back out at one of my favourite lakes, Lake Samsonvale in Queensland, Australia. It's been a while since we've had a little bit of rain, and I thought I'd come out and have a look at the lake, because normally when the water's a little bit lower, we get some really nice structures because there's these dead trees around the lake's edge, and they make for really nice compositions in landscape photography. Another reason why I'm heading out to the lake is because, I don't know if you saw last week's video. If you haven't seen last week's video, I'm just going to leave it up the top here for you to have a look at a little bit later on. But recently I bought myself some new Pano gear to add to my tripod and my Nikon D850. And I thought this might be a really good opportunity during this sunset to maybe get a nice pano around this lake's edge. And I'm pretty excited about it, actually. I'm looking forward to this afternoon. That's the other thing I love about this area. We've just come into spring here and the bird life are out. So far I've seen rainbow bee-eaters, the small honey eaters, as well as the double-barred finches. And they're just feeding in all the grevillea trees and all the natural natives. There he is. I've got two rainbow bee-eaters sitting right above me here. They're right at the very top. I mean, you won't be able to see them on this Osmo Action. But they're sitting at the very top of that tree. There's one just flew through. Absolutely adore those rainbow bee-eaters. So many colours in their feathers. That's the thing about walking in nature. If you had a stressful day, it's the perfect way to chill out. Ah, here we go. This is what I'm after. Perfect. I love the way this old dead tree is situated in this, I don't know, little bit of an alcove of the lake. And it's got lilies around it, and I love the way it reflects into the water. But the beautiful thing is I can get an angle from just over there, and I can basically put the camera straight out that way with the sunset, and I'll be able to sweep across with a panorama. So at the end of the day, when the panorama comes together, well, that dead tree in the water should look quite minimal. So it might end up being a minimal landscape panorama, but that's okay. We'll see how it looks. Okay, so I've got the Nikon D850 set up with my new panoramic gear, the nodal rails on. Last week I talked about how on each focal length of my 16 to 35mm lens, I've now got a number on the side of the nodal rail that tells me that I'm going to minimize that parallax error. So I'm doing this at 16mm and I'm sitting at number 81 on the nodal rail. That way I just know that it's directly over the column of the tripod. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pan around here and take about 5 vertical shots, and I'll stitch those together in Lightroom and Photoshop. One thing you'll probably notice is I'm not using any sort of filters. When doing panoramas and you apply filters to the front of your camera, I find that you run into quite a bit of trouble because your filter ends up going all off skew in different types of things while you're stitching together. So what I do is I expose for the highlights, and I don't really worry about the darks because I just know with the Nikon D850 it has such amazing dynamic range. I can recover those shadows no problem. So basically I'm exposing for the sky. Okay, so the sun is just getting down into position. It's just going behind that mountain ridge there. Hopefully a bit of colour should get up onto the cloud bank just above it. But it's just about halfway down over the mountain. I'm going to get a shot here where it's just poking over the edge of the mountain. So exposed for the sky, no filters. 2-second timer release, so they're getting a camera shake in between the shots. I'm at ISO 64 f11 and I'm at 1/100th of a second. Okay, let's give it a go. So there's 1. 2. 3. That's my favourite part of the Pano, with the tree with reflection in the water. And 4. And 5. So just so you know at home, that's about 180 degrees that I've just done there. So that'll give you some sort of an idea of what the Pano looks like when I'm doing basically half a circle. So now we have 5 45 megapixel pictures. I'll put up on screen how many megapixels the finished Pano ends up being. Well guys, I'm going to leave it here from Lake Samson Vale in Queensland, Australia. I'm really loving this new Pano gear that I've got for the D850 and the Manfrotto carbon fibre tripod. Fantastic afternoon. Beautiful reflections in this little cove here with this tree. I love those pastel colours on that cloud as well. Nature, you just can't beat it. Never stop creating, and I'll see you next time.